You too, Brian Phillips. You got a box. Looks mysteriously like a garbage bag. Oh my goodness gracious, what do we have here? By Eachine. It is the Eachine E120 scale helicopter. We got a little packing list in here. Super excited to bring you this one. We love scale helis here on Brian Phillips RC, and this one should be no exception, we hope. Flight time 15 minutes, which is crazy. Looks like it's got altitude control, should be easy to fly. This one comes in a mode 2 or mode 1. In my case, I picked mode 1. Excuse me, mode 2. Mode 2 is like what we usually do on the channel, where we've got on the handle, we've got throttle or collective, and then yaw for the tail rotor. And then this would tip your helicopter left and right and then lean forward and backward, which we'll show you in a minute. All right, cool, nice plastic wrap. It's like retail packaging, it looks like, which is pretty cool. It is squished a lot, which makes me nervous, but I've learned to not be worried about that, because with these XK products, or excuse me, Eachine products, XK, the various different brands that do these, they do tend to get squished a little bit. And we haven't had any that have been broken, especially the helicopters. The packaging just sort of works.
We've had worse squishing.
Yes,
too.
we have. Oh yeah, we've had a lot worse. But I think this one here is just, it's kind of a slide out style package, and it's kind of a little bit hard to get going. So I don't know if it's taped maybe and I'm just missing something. But anyway, this is a 4-channel. It is ready to fly. Looks like it's got the 6-axis gyro, which is really good. And it's got some proprietary batteries. So I'm always like nervous about that. Obviously, you know, the ready to flies that have those batteries, sometimes those batteries are a little bit better engineered than some of the not ready to fly batteries that are just a generic battery. My complaint is that sometimes the connectors are an issue, because you don't always have a good charger for them. So I'll just put that in the background so we can take a look at it. Immediately fell. Okay, so there's no tape inside of here, just a white package. Very simple. Yep, as expected, plastic. Plastic around everything, and it looks like there's different offerings here that have different amount of batteries. And in this case, I believe ours came with just the 1 maybe. But look how sweet this thing is. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Wow. 4-bladed, so gorgeous. Fly barless, look at that. That is so sweet. I absolutely love these little detailed beauties. So gorgeous. And then look, the battery goes right there. That is so sweet. And that is one of the batteries.
Oh, nice.
Yep, so it's a proprietary battery, but look how easy that is.
Yeah.
I hate putting batteries in helicopters. Look, every one of those batteries sucks to put in. Every one of them. And by the way, we've got about another 10 helicopters in the closet. So I am gonna very feverishly, as Megan gives you some closer shots, the camera crew, my wonderful wife, is gonna give you some side view there. And also in the box, we got some extra blades. Looks like it only comes with 2 spare blades. Now, that's unusual, but at the same time, there's a 4-bladed configuration. Excuse me. That's only 1. Are you kidding me? Oh, no, 2. There are 2. Here, show them. They've got these like pseudo, like matte finish bags. I don't know why they do that on some of these now. But they're all A blades, okay? And it does come with a USB-A to USB-C, like the world's shortest cable. That's pretty amazing. I'm gonna call that 12 inches. Just kidding, it's not 12 inches. It's much shorter. Depends on who you ask. All right, so we've got the transmitter here. It's got the Eachine branding on it. Looks like they call it speed. So of course this will be up and down, left and right. Then this will be forward, left, right, and back for leaning. And of course that controls the, it's not the cyclic, it's the cyclic. The cyclic. And the cyclic is this little mechanism that pulls down, or pulls down, or pulls down. And then it forces this to tip as the blades go through, the rotor goes through the sequence of operations. So it pitches the blades down. Oops, it goes this way. That's weird. Does that not seem backward? Oh. That's so strange. I don't know why that seems backward, but I gotta look at another helicopter now that I'm saying that. Okay, so we'll grab another helicopter we've done recently. This is the FW200. This is a really crazy one. You can fly it. Nope, that's the right direction. I don't know why I was thinking that was the wrong direction, but helicopters and airplanes are not always the same. And this is probably, I'm used to counterclockwise rotation for an airplane prop. So it'd be going this way. On a generic, like your run-of-the-mill airplane like this, and then it pulls forward. So interesting. Okay, so there's nothing under the packaging, but just like I said, blow mold packaging. These things literally look like a scale model that you build, except you don't have to do anything. Like that's the build. So Unbox build radio setup, there's just not much to it, which is the way we love it. Also, we are gonna fly this thing inside. So, oh boy, there is nothing more to it. And I said USB-C to USB-A. This is USB-A to USB, is that micro?
Micro.
That's micro. So my apologies, guys. I thought that was a C, but look.
Oh, that's all there is.
That's all there is. There is nothing else.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's actually, I prefer that. That's pretty sweet. But that doesn't mean that you're carrying around the charging circuit in the aircraft. So that's got its double-edged sword to it. I'm just gonna use one of these like from a Wise camera. If you're ever curious about the voltage range, don't be super worried about it. It doesn't really say on here, but if you have, where does it say the input? So it's the voltage is 7.4 out, but it doesn't say anything about the input. The input's gonna be a generic 5 volt input, 5.1, 5.2, it's gonna be fine. There's a voltage regulator on these things. So when you plug it in, it should be no problem. So we'll plug that in and there's immediately a 4 light that tells you how much is on there. This actually turns on and off the helicopter, which is pretty sweet. Oh. Or the battery. I guess we could press and see what happens with the battery. Yeah, it tells you how much battery life there is. So when you press and hold this, it goes down, it goes up, and then when you let go, it relaxes to the position where it should be. So that's pretty sweet, and it's easy to see the lights. They are directional LEDs, so like as you're holding it, you may note that in the camera, it looks like they're not on. It's just because they're not pointed perfectly straight. They're kind of bug-eyed through the hole. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna turn this one off for what it's worth. And I mean, this thing is just absolutely gorgeous. Let's see if we can fly it pretty much right away. We're probably gonna have to stick some, oh, there's an LED there too. Can't wait to see what that does. That looks like the ground sensor, which is pretty sweet. Oh man, super excited. Oh, I accidentally hit the power button. I'm gonna see if I can turn it off. Oh, it's on. Look, we've got a tail light that flashes. Give them some side shots of that again.
Oh, cool.
That is so cool. I am just loving that. I'm gonna set this box up while you give them a couple of close-ups. What we're probably gonna have to do though really quick is we're gonna have to get some double A's more than likely. So let's go ahead and look. Did you even see a manual or was I just
it's over here on the counter.
Okay, so I got super excited about this helicopter and then I realized I didn't even look for a manual.
Yep, it was right on top.
Yeah, there is a manual. So the Unbox on this helicopter is something else, super simple. Obviously there's nothing that's too terribly difficult about these helicopters, but I will warn you about one thing. If you don't have a USB to USB-A, or excuse me, a wall adapter to USB-A plug, you need to provide that. And then also on the back of the transmitter, pop the back off, 4 AA's, just like we've seen on a million other aircraft. So that should be very simple. So we'll go ahead and pause, grab some batteries, and then take a look at getting this set up. All right, so we've got the back cover off as we mentioned. These batteries, the world's cheapest batteries you can get. I think these ones come from Harbor Freight. They're like 50 cents for 400.
Unless you know of cheaper ones, then let us know.
If you do, please do, because we go through a few of them here on this channel. If you're new to the channel, Brian Phillips RC reviews all sorts of aircraft and RC stuff. And then every once in a while, oh, you'll see some flashing lights. That's pretty cool. Okay, so the flashing lights must mean bind. So I'm gonna go down and then up and just see if that recognizes things. This is now flashing. Down and then up, there we go. So it found it that time. Okay, so that was about as simple as it gets. You can see it's moving. Wow, that is really cool. Look at that. Individual controls. Oh, that's so sweet. Guys, we are so spoiled now with the way these things work. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you kind of the way things tip. So you can see that, okay? Now, I haven't actually set this up to take off, but I am curious, so camera crew, there are instructions if you wanna if you're curious about the instructions on the remote control, you can pause and then you can critique how terribly I did for basically, this is the speed, so it must be like rates, fine tuning. This is called trim in the world of RC. There's a power switch in the center, and then these are the 1 key takeoff, press 1 key, meanwhile press TX to change. Okay, so you can change from mode 1 to mode 2. Okay, turn on the TX power to change mode 1, 2. Oh, okay, whatever that means.
Okay.
So I have no idea. As usual, Chinese manual, pretty much useless. I'm gonna just lay that here. You could sit there and try to figure out what they meant, or you could just take off and fly it. So I'm gonna try the one-touch takeoff. Everybody duck. Oh my goodness, that is so cool. And you'll notice I haven't even touched the sticks except for the demo. Very, very cool. As you can see, I'm not even looking. I'm gonna lay that down. I'm gonna walk away from the helicopter. This is why Easy to Fly is available right now. This is so cool, guys. Look at this. It's in my living room. I haven't even touched it. We have a fan running. Show them the fan running. That's a big fan. Okay, so that's awesome. Camera crew, look, you can fly it. See?
I can.
Here, camera crew, you don't even need to stop filming. Look at this. She's filming.
I'm filming and flying at the same time. I am totally going to.
So pissed off.
What are you gonna do?
What? Okay, look at this, guys. I haven't even controlled the helicopter. And look at this, that is so sweet. And the camera crew is controlling it. She is totally, wow. Guys, if you want a helicopter, you know who wants this helicopter right now? You know who I'm thinking of? My uncle.
Yeah.
My Uncle Don.
Yes.
So Don,
this is the one you
eat
want,
your heart
Don.
out. As soon as we're done with this review, I'm gonna totally get you hooked up with this thing. And it's gonna be awesome. We should show Don flying it.
We should.
Because like literally, guys, look who's flying it.
Like,
the camera crew is flying it.
No one's even touched it yet.
And when I say flying it, yes, you may have noticed it's a little bit facetious because I literally haven't touched the sticks. Okay, so if you're new to Brian Phillips RC, follow the links in the description below. Buy the helicopters for yourself. That helps support the channel. We get small commissions from the companies we work with. That's pretty cool. Okay, so there's your yaw. Pretty good rate. That's full stick. Sounds like brushless geared motors. Is there a brushless motor on the main? I can't remember. Did it say?
I don't know.
I know this one is a brushed motor. And by the way, if you Enrique this, do you see how the lights just flashed? It's like, no, Enrique, let go. Don't be injured. I'm gonna go ahead and watch this. You hear it? Watch this. Oh, it's going back to where it believes it was. Now that's not spatially, but elevation-wise, okay? So it's walked away from me just a little bit, but again, I haven't even touched the controls except for the yaw. Okay, so now let's demo going forward. There's forward, let go. Look at that. Auto levels, auto corrects. Literally nothing in terms of auto leveling is amazing. Okay, there's your roll left, excuse me, roll right, roll left. Come back. You do need to be aware that there's a limited amount of power on this. I haven't used the up and down yet, so there's down. Okay, there's up. Okay, now there is a sensor on the bottom. Watch this. So the sensor's not super concerned about that. And by the way, I gotta say, the exhaust ports on this thing are phenomenal and exciting. Okay, so hold on. We normally do thumbnails from our videos, which you guys know this from watching our videos a million times. So, or millions of times. So what I wanna do is I wanna get this thing, I wanna get it away from my face just a little bit. I'm gonna trim forward just a little bit. So I'm just pressing up on this little rocker. I'm gonna go back a couple, maybe one. Okay, so I did like 5 forward, backward. And then what I wanna do is I wanna trim to the left. To the left. See how it stopped? It's as simple as that. Now, let's get a cool thumbnail.
Wait, hold on, okay.
So there you go, guys. This is a cool helicopter, and here's my take. Okay, so let's fly over and talk next to some other helicopters as we fly through the room. Looks so realistic. Should we go down by the cat turds? Let's do it. I wanna see what the closed caption says when I say cat turds. Cat turds. Cat turds. Yes, that's right. You heard it here first on Brian Phillips RC. You can fly next to your cat turds.
There's no
there aren't any turds in there yet. Whoa, almost hit the Airbus. And by the way, excuse me, that is the Boeing 737 MAX 9. So check this out. Look at the scale on this compared to the Boeing. It is so close and amazing. Altitude hold is a little teeny bit lacking. I feel like that's the first time I felt any sort of performance issue. I would say that it is pretty good, but it's a little bit spongy on the up-down control. But again, all you have to do is just like take a break.
Right.
You normally wouldn't do that with a helicopter, by the way, guys, because it would have crashed in like 1 second. And so for those of you that don't understand just how amazing this is, what you want to do is just go back to the, early 2000s and get any helicopter, and then you would have already been spending $400 or $500 on spare parts, and that's a lot of spare parts for a small helicopter. But check this out. Okay, just bringing it down a little bit. Come on now, buddy. Come on, come back here. So any of these helicopters, there are 2 ways to evaluate whether or not you want a helicopter, okay? Now, I'm not saying that everybody is gonna want this thing other than the fact that it's beautiful and I love it. But here's the thing. If you wanna learn to fly a helicopter, this thing is more like flying a drone than it is like flying a helicopter. If you wanna learn to fly a helicopter, camera crew, you want something on this side. If you want something that's super easy to fly, you'd wanna be here or like what we're looking at right now. Look at that red tail light. That is so cool. By the way, slow flashes, that's a big no-no in my opinion. Flashes are cool, but they help you lose orientation. As much as I love the detail, and this thing is so easy to fly, it's really not a problem. I do prefer to have solid lights. You may be able to switch the wiring to make that thing solid off of the board, the flight controller inside of here. Also, I am in the lowest speed setting, so let's see what happens when we go up to the next setting. The setting is controlled by this little switch right here. Okay, we may be, we're getting to where it's out of power. So it automatically landed. There was hardly a warning. We knew this was not a full battery charge. So full disclosure, not a full battery charge. I didn't actually press down. I didn't acknowledge anything. It just started fast flashing and landed. So if you've ever flown with like a little toy drone, this thing is just like that in terms of its skill required to fly. Okay, now let's talk about charging quick. We have the second light is flashing of 4. Okay, so it's got a ways to go. Now that tells me that we probably had about 2 of 4 of the lights would have been lit up. Look at that exhaust port, just so beautiful, amazing. I love these scale helis so much. Okay, so we were talking about flashing lights too. Flashing lights tend to distract, especially from new pilots. Okay, I'm unplugging this. I wanna talk to you about this. It's warm, it's warm. You wanna touch that and see what you think? Yeah, it's warm, yeah. Okay. So then you see this, I'm gonna press that. It's off. Now I'm gonna press it and wake it up. All the lights come on, then I let go. Yep, so it's flashing on the lowest light. That tells you that it's ready to be charged, like it's done. Let this cool off for a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna set that on this hard surface, safety memo. Everything you just saw me do, don't do any of it, especially flying right next to your eyes unless you have safety glasses and a face mask and a hard hat.
And a respirator.
And a respirator, obviously. But if you do want to fly this thing, it's super easy to fly. I mean, literally, I wasn't flying it for minutes. That's incredible. Super impressive response. I love the fact that you can literally take this out of the box, less than 10 minutes, have it flying in your own very living room. I mean, that is incredible. Altitude, barometric control on the altitude is a little bit spongy. We haven't gone into the other speeds. Obviously, we're gonna pause the video after we're done talking about it for a minute, and we'll show you what it looks like with the higher speeds. In terms of startup, very simple. There's one touch takeoff, one touch landing. You can also initiate that by pressing up or pressing down, okay? There's also an emergency mode, but you have to hold it for 3 seconds, and I think that's just down on the stick. There's also a click on some of these. I don't feel a click, okay? So I'm not feeling the click on this transmitter, but just to give you an idea, we've got just a plethora of other controls here. So this is something similar. And some of them have a click, like if you push the stick in. I don't feel that there's a click on this particular transmitter, so just something to keep in mind. Now, in comparison to an airplane, is this easy to fly, hard to fly? I would say that it's just almost not the same thing. This is like drone style, toy grade fun, but it's not gonna be like a hobby grade piece of equipment here. However, it has it's got some pretty good equipment in there for what I can see. And the thing that's interesting about this is that, yeah, I can't even really tell if it's a brushed motor or not, but I can see the controller board in there. Can you turn your flash on that camera?
Let me try.
Okay, so go right in there and see if you can go and look inside. So obviously that's where the battery takes off. I'm gonna try to flip it over and just doing a reverse engineer, just from what we can see without tearing it apart. There's 2 servos here, 3 servos, and they're small servos. It gotta be like 2 or 3 gram servos, maybe a 2.3 gram servo. There is a bit of a bearing up there. That's pretty sweet. Don't see bearings on cheap helicopters very often. It sounds geared. Obviously, this is a brushed motor. Brushed is inferior to brushless. So just to give you an idea, compared to another of the Eachine lineup, this is an amazing helicopter. This is more like this is gonna be like a hobby grade helicopter. Look at the difference in brushless motor on the tail, brushless motor direct drive up front. Okay, very big brushless motor, by the way, I might add. This is an extremely capable helicopter. You can fly upside down, you can TikTok, you can do anything you want with this that your skills will provide for. It's also got CNC parts, which is very expensive to do, especially on a small scale like this. This has much less sophisticated parts, but look at the beauty. And of course, I've got the rotor all screwed up, so it makes it look like a spider. I gotta say, I am a sucker for scale helicopters, and it is not the first or last time we're gonna do one here on Brian Phillips RC. Obviously, we review hundreds of different aircraft for you on this channel, and then we're doing the PPG as one of the new experiences. But just anything aviation is super exciting to us. And then also in support of our flight field, which of course is our property here that we live on. And we know you guys are curious about that if at best, and most of you maybe don't want to see all the details, but we do review some of that. And I got to show you this real quick in comparison. So we'll just go in here. This is the office where all the magic happens. And we'll just be super careful what we film because I have some unreleasable things right now. But just compared to some of the other products that we've seen in the past, one of the first reviews we did of a helicopter, well, this is a long since discontinued one, but look, there's dust on it, but this is what I'm gonna say. These helicopters are the ones that really stick with you because when you fly them, you enjoy them, you have a great time, but then everybody that's been into a helicopter like this gets what I'm about to say. You'll fly these for a few months, maybe a few weeks, and then you get tired of flying it, you move on to the next one. That's cool because guess what? It's not wasted money at that point. You'll have it as a beautiful display piece. And I'm serious, when I get these beautiful little scale helicopters, look at that. I mean, I built models as a kid that were uglier than this by a long shot. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm almost 40. Oh. But anyway, the whole point is, as a kid, I remember building models like this that were scale replicas of helicopters, and they were not as good as this because I had to paint them and they never quite looked right. But just look at what we're getting nowadays. It's amazing. And these are older options.
Yes.
This thing flies itself practically. And I mean, it really does fly itself. So just in looking at the way that these things are coming straight out of the box, it's amazing. Now, if you're new to RC and you know nothing about anything, just like we do about farming, this helicopter is perfect for you. If you are a very skilled, years and years, 30, 40 years of flight experience, you're gonna get this and think that is the coolest little thing ever. And that's what's so cool about this, is that you're not gonna have to remortgage your property to buy it, which is always a good thing. Now, it depends on how expensive your property is, I should say. But let's juxtapose it to another choice that we just recently did. Absolutely amazing technology, flying upside down as well. But you may have to get a second mortgage for this. Okay, it's expensive. Also expensive, also expensive, also expensive, 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 expensive. And these are non-competitive brands from the same retailer. So obviously you can look at the Eachine E180, you can look in the Eachine 150. This is a competitive brand, so we don't want to make too much about it, but I'm just gonna tell you this, guys. When it comes to helicopters, we know what's going on out there. We are not expert heli pilots here by any means. We mostly do fixed wing, as you guys know, if you know anything about Brian Phillips RC, but I do fly helicopters. I do know how to fly inverted. I do know how to do some very basic maneuvering. In airplanes, of course, I have a pretty good amount of skill in those in fixed wing. But when it comes to scale helicopters, manufacturers, why are you not making more? Because we want them and we love them and we will buy them even if they fly terrible. Now, does this fly terrible, cam crew?
Nope.
Nope. But does this fly like a scale heli?
No.
Like that helicopter? 3D helicopter? Definitely not. Do not buy this to fly 3D. I don't even believe it'll flip upside down, just to be clear. I don't even know if you can turn off the auto leveling. So just to be clear, I don't know because there's 3 speed settings. So you just need to be careful what you're picking. This may not be applicationally what you want for that reason. If you're trying to do a 3D helicopter, I would highly recommend nothing less than something like the Eachine 150 or even better. But I'm gonna be honest with you, there's a million good choices for helicopters. Why do you wanna come to Brian Phillips IC? Because I'm gonna show you it working in my kitchen and I'm gonna walk up next to it, and if it hits me in the face, I'm gonna let you know. That has not happened yet, thank God. Okay? And the camera crew literally was flying it.
Wow.
I mean, she was holding the control.
Do you know what this makes me think of? Since it's June and it's like 127 degrees here.
You can fly it inside when it's really hot.
No.
What?
Be a good Christmas present.
Oh, Christmas present. You mean
better
like
start
before
planning.
the 4th of July? That is a good idea.
I'm just saying.
So the other thing too that's nice about this is because it's not like incredibly expensive. I'm just gonna warn you, if you have like more than one like kid, like a kid.
Or you have a kid that has a dad.
That also has children of his own.
Yes.
Don't forget him.
Yeah.
When you're getting your kids gifts.
Yes.
Because he's gonna be all like, can't believe you didn't buy that for me. And when your husband says, it's okay, honey, I don't need anything. I just buy what I want when I need it, which is pretty much true for every adult male. But aside from that detail, if he doesn't already have this in the hangar, it would not be like a bad gift idea. And yes, we are talking about gift ideas because my camera crew is the one that does all these things and I just reap the benefits.
You just show up on Christmas morning and are as surprised as the children.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, guys, great helicopter. Love the way it looks. Obviously, we're gonna pause. We're gonna get this battery charged up. We'll do a little bit more flying. Stay tuned. But in the meantime, we're gonna do some movie magic and cut out this charging. But in the meantime, I wanna ask you, if you're gonna buy this thing for your significant other, for your children, for yourself, for your neighbor to appease their aircraft interest as you have just crashed into the roof, don't do that. That's against the rules. Not that I ever did that, except for hundreds of times. Then this would be a good way to go over and like, you know, olive branch, like, hey neighbor, I've got this Eachine helicopter and a ladder. Why do you have a ladder? I don't know. Go inside and see how awesome this helicopter is while I go up the back of your house with my 40-foot extension ladder. Just saying. It happens. Or maybe a tree. Don't still bring the chainsaw with you. You might get in trouble for that. So awesome helicopter. You'll love it. And you guys will love Brian Phillips RC. If you're not aware, we do review a couple of things here on this channel. So when there's like hundreds and hundreds of choices from China land, we bring a few of them to the Americas and we show you in live, in person, except not, this isn't live or in person. I mean,
for me it is.
That's right. For us it is, but for you, you're watching on TV or the cell phone or whatever it is. So if you're watching this, the other big tip of the day is get the boss involved, get them hooked so that when they're like, hey, I noticed you were watching a Brian Phillips RC video for like 18 hours today. Maybe don't do 18 hours at a time, break it up. But yeah, we'll be back in just a second to show you what it flies like in the second speed and third speeds, whatever that means. Stay tuned. All right, YouTube, so the Eachine 120, we just got a battery charged. We're gonna show you what the other speed settings look like just so you can differentiate. Okay, one-touch takeoff. Okay, let me get up to altitude. Went pretty high that time, but that's okay. Love the way this thing looks, as we mentioned before. Okay, so just so you guys can see, we're in that speed 1. We'll go to speed 2. There's speed 2. Way faster on the cyclic rate, or the cyclic rate. That's speed 2. There's speed 1, 2, 3. So it's basically like a rate control. That's 50% stick input. So it's got definitely a lot more lean to it, so it's allowed to then go faster. Feel like the tail rotor keeps up nicely. You can do kind of coordinated turns. I actually kind of like the way it looks in the lower speeds myself. I'm gonna go back to the middle setting, which is 2. It beeps twice when you change it. As with other ready to flies, I can feel like there's just a little bit of sponginess in the controller, but I would say like from a scale aficionado, if you want to call myself that, I don't know that I would be an aficionado by any means, especially now with this helicopter. I love the way it looks, but I'm not familiar with this helicopter. If in doubt, flip it upside down and it'll shut off, okay? The other thing too that we learned is that you can actually take this helicopter, and if you're turning it on for the first time, one trick, sometimes when you press it in, the lights will come on the battery, but if the lights don't turn on the actual helicopter, it won't work. Now, I also want to show you one other thing. This is a little bit unusual. Generally speaking, in RC aircraft, you want the transmitter on first for safety so that you're always commanding and controlling the aircraft. So like if you have a throttle cutter or something, you won't have that prop start and cut you. Well, in this case, I think the way it's supposed to go is you turn it on, wait 2 or 3 seconds, and then it comes on, down, up, nothing is happening, you're out of control, so you have to turn this off. See how it's still slow flash? When you first turn it on, it goes to a fast flash. 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know if it's down, up first, doesn't matter, because it catches. I just go up and down until it starts, okay? So, if you press and hold the up, nothing. You have to press the one-touch launch, which is pretty sweet. Okay, so as you can see, just amazing. Really, really happy with this helicopter. It is gorgeous. And I just love the size. I love the way that it holds its position. I love the way that it looks. I love there's this little white stripe on the top. That is so cool. I also love the fact that you can fly down a hallway, which we'll show you that real quick. Hallways are the nemesis, the bane of the existence of small helicopters. We'll just see if the lights are bright enough to really kind of see them. Obviously it's dark, you'll be able to see it. Okay. Pretty amazing. You can definitely tell I need to trim just a little bit. Oh no, oh no. Let's see how much damage there was to the wall. You can see there's no damage to the wall, which is good. This is just a regular drywall. There's nothing special about it. We didn't put like extra metal reinforcement in it just for this video. That was legitimately me crashing into the wall. Okay, we're gonna do a one-touch takeoff. Okay, now I'm gonna get myself in control and I'll fly out. Could probably use just a little teeny bit of trim to get it tracking straight and a little bit of trim to stop it from moving forward. And what I say when I'm talking about trim, I clicked twice this way. You can also click up if it was going the wrong way. So like right now it's leaning in toward the, so that's all you got to do. It's very simple, guys. So this is a great helicopter if you want to get something that's either for fun for yourself as a gift. Obviously I know my wife and camera crew was talking about Christmas gifts. Not a bad time actually. So definitely do us a favor if you want to help support Brian Phillips RC and what we do here on this channel with in-depth long format videos that show you what you really want to know about these helicopters. Then definitely check the links in the video description below. When you buy from the links, that helps to financially support our channel. They don't tell us what to say. We could say this thing is a turd, but we don't. We just talk about cat turds. So that being said, Eachine does some good stuff, and they've had a few duds here and there. But generally speaking, other than one I can think of right now, they've been very good. So good job, Eachine. Love this thing. Look, one more look at that beauty. It's just absolutely gorgeous from just about every angle. Even on the belly, it looks good. That is so cool. We're not used to seeing so many, and that's a pretty bright light actually, which is awesome. Now the red light on the back is a little bit bright as well. And you'll note that they're solid this time. Remember how I was talking about the flashing light being an issue?
Oh.
I don't know. Oh, you know what that is? Low battery, lower battery. That's totally what it is. We're full battery now. So that was what was going on. I was mentioning that flashing lights cause crashes. Well, that could be true, but in this case, flashing lights will help you avoid a crash. So I can't resist but going into closing by having this thing take off and just say, guys, this thing is awesome. You gotta get one. It's really fun. I love helicopters that are scale helicopters. Even if you only flew this thing about 20 times and then the rest of your helicopter's life, it sits on your shelf and looks amazing. I would say this is definitely one of those things that you're gonna love. And if you wanna get a display piece and you can also fly the display piece, how do you lose? So cool. Definitely stay tuned, guys. So much more coming from Brian Phillips RC. We love that you guys are supporting us on Patreon and PayPal. If you wanna do that, you can be part of the team. Just look in the video description below, that's also there. But also this helicopter and other choices, as you have already probably seen on brianphillipsrc.com, which is gonna be, of course, our website that will direct you back to YouTube to watch our video footage, but it might make it slightly easier to make a decision if you're trying to make a decision for support for Brian Phillips RC. We'll have all the different stuff in one spot. So check it out, www.brianphillipsrc.com. Should be a link popping up anytime soon. And then also, as you know, if you ever watch through an entire Brian Phillips RC, we have different end screens that come up, and that's just going to direct you to the playlist for this aircraft or that aircraft or that aircraft or any of them. As we do multiple videos for aircraft, there will be more stuff there. So check it out. Thanks for watching, guys.